So I called for New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to resign months ago. His unfathomable decision to return China virus patients back to nursing homes cost the lives of thousands of New Yorkers. The death toll of that ill-fated decision is still mounting. It stands at over 15,000 by our count now, when assisted living adult care facilities are added into the nursing home tally. And now we learn from a whistleblower, one of the governor's top aides, Melissa DeRosa, that they withheld the actual numbers from federal prosecutors because they, quote, froze out of fear that the true numbers would be used against them to help the feds build their case against Cuomo and his staff. That, according to the New York Post. Now, this is a stunning admission that reveals just how devious Governor Cuomo is. It is really more proof that he doesn't care about these victims or their families. He simply cares about protecting his own political rear end. This entire debacle had devastating consequences. So many families are dealing with the loss of a loved one that could have been prevented. Remember, the U.S. Comfort Navy hospital ship parked in New York was virtually unused during the height of this crisis. So was the makeshift hospital inside the Javits Center. Patients could have easily been sent to either the Comfort or the Mercy or even the Javits Center. Cuomo opted to send patients back to nursing homes because he didn't want to give President Trump the credit for helping. Joining me now are two brothers who lost their dad to COVID-19 before they could get their dad home from one of those nursing homes to shield him from the COVID patients Cuomo was forcing into the nursing home where their dad was staying. Their dad came down with the virus and died. Peter and Daniel Arbeeny, both of you, thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daniel, I guess I'll ask you, what's your reaction now to, I think, what a lot of us knew, that this was a giant cover-up?
It's stunning. We have been, since April, really asking the same question. And, you know, what are the numbers and where did this come from? And we want an apology. At the very beginning of this, we started with two choices. We were either going to fight and scream at the darkness, or we were going to light a flashlight and shine the light on the truth. And we've been focused on getting the truth and doing it in a way that really impacts people to want to hear the truth. So it was stunning. We knew it, but when you hear it, it's so different because, let's face it, the governor, his spokesman, Rich, they've been gaslighting everybody for 6-9 months now.
Yeah. Peter, I watched an interview from you, and you had said you and your brother, your family, knew the numbers were higher than when they were first saying 6,000, 7,000 deaths. You knew it. How did you know? And you were right, by the way. But how did you know it, Peter?
He put an order in place March 25th, and he defended it on March 26th, that he sent COVID-positive patients back to nursing homes because he was following the federal guidelines. The order stayed in for 6 weeks. He defended it from March 25th to May 10th. And on May 11th, he started counting discharge COVID patient deaths that left the nursing home. As they were discharged and they passed away outside the nursing home, he started counting those deaths. Our father caught COVID in the nursing home. We were one of the fortunate families to get him home. We brought him home, and then he passed shortly after that. But we knew that our father's death didn't count for the 6 weeks. So it's kind of unbelievable that the governor, up to 2 weeks ago, said to me as a Democrat, if you want an apology, we were following the federal guidelines, and you need to ask the federal government, the Trump administration, for an apology for his directive. But it doesn't make any sense. If you were following the federal guidelines, then how is it that you froze when the federal government asked you questions about the deaths? If you were actually following their guidelines, what was the big secret? Why were you hiding the numbers? So we knew they were hiding the numbers, and I was called a right-wing Republican operative. it was insulting to me because we asked for an apology publicly. I asked the governor to call me, and then I invited the governor to my father's house so that we can sit down and talk. And he has failed. He had no right to lie. He had no right to cover up. He had no right to dismiss our families. And I really want to say this again. Governor Cuomo, stop blaming the Trump administrations for your own lies. You have to own your own lies and start from that point.
One of the things that happened that week that my father passed away is we had 4 family members die of COVID that same week. It was brutal. But out of the 4, only 1 was counted as a COVID death.
Yeah. What gets me is they manipulate the numbers when it's in their benefit to do so. You have people that have all kinds of diseases. They're labeling them as COVID deaths, and they probably died of something else. Here you have your father, who clearly dies of COVID. He was in a nursing home. Then they don't want to count that as a nursing home death. It's all about protecting their own rear end. It's offensive, guys, isn't it?
It's offensive to us. Think about it. 15,000 people is the count now, like my father who passed away. That's 150,000 family members that have been harmed by this. It's more than offensive, not just to us, but to all the other families that we represent, that we want to stand there and say, stop with the lies. Give us the truth, give us the apology, and let's look at this so it never happens again.
Peter and Daniel, I know you both want an apology from the governor, and you deserve it. Do you want him to resign?
What I really want is we set out for 3 things. We wanted to know what the real numbers were.
Real quick, because we're getting, and I don't want to cut you off because it's an important story, but real quick if you can.
We want a proper investigation that has subpoena power so we can find out the origins of the March 25th order. He's blamed it on the Trump administration. That will clearly be in the documents of whether they actually did follow the Trump administration's guidelines, which we all know they didn't. But that's what we need. We need the truth. The people need the truth.
From that, then the people can make a decision, and we hope it would be one that reflects that truth.
Well, as a guy who grew up in New York, I no longer live there. I want him to resign, and I think he should. And this story is proof of one of the reasons why I believe that he should. Peter and Daniel Arbeeny, to both of you and your family and everyone who lost a loved one in this, our sympathies from everybody here at Newsmax. And I'm so appreciative of you coming on, telling your story, and I think some good comes out of it. God bless you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.